Good day, awesome YouTubers. It is Lollyman16 here again for another Dragon Ball Super episode review. This one is episode 58, entitled Zamasu to Burak Fukamara no Futari no Nazo. In the translation, of course, Zamasu and Black, the Twos, and I say that because there's an apostrophe there. The Twos' mystery deepens. Let me first turn on the volume a little bit. Okay, so this episode was very dialogue heavy, guys. We got not really a lot of explanation, but we did get a lot of theory and conjecture, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, in this episode. We start off with Son Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks, of course, in Capsule Corporation. After they got defeated with Black. They've been given senzu beans, I guess the last 3 senzu beans from Bulma. They wake up and basically they kind of wonder what's going on and if they made it and stuff. All the while this is happening, Zamasu, somewhere in Universe 7, Zamasu is questioning Zuno. He's basically asking them about the Super Dragon Ball, the Super Dragon Balls, about Son Goku, and basically all that stuff. Of course, Zuno can only give you, I believe it is 3 questions. You can only ask him 3 questions, but he keeps threatening him. And basically what he's doing is he's threatening him by using his arm and almost chopping his head off. At least that's what it looks like. That's what it looked like from the preview from last episode. But he doesn't actually do this. He kind of threatens him, and he's holding his hand at throat point, and he's basically, I could kill you, so you better tell me everything. So he pretty much tells him the Dai Nana Uchu, Dai Roku Uchu, all the stuff about the Super Dragon Balls, and basically tells them about where they are located, because that's going to be a key part later on in the episode. He actually tells them, I guess, where they are. So after this, we cut back to Goku and the gang, all there at Capsule Corp. They're still talking about basically what happened. I forgot to mention that Zamasu tells Zuno that he's a Kaioshin, so he could wipe you out instantly. That's what he tells him. Anyway, so basically, there's one more thing about that scene. Zuno explains to him that you can revive the Super Dragon Balls within a year. So yeah, that's here. They're inactive right now because they were just used. Remember, in the last arc, Universe 6, Beerus just used them, so they're inactive now. But again, I'll tell you how this could be used later on in the episode. But for right now, Goku is back in the Capsule Corp. Trunks explains to Bulma and everyone else there. Basically, they fought both Black and Zamasu, and he's basically telling them Zamasu is immortal. And Kid Trunks is, wait a minute, he's saying something along the lines of, well, isn't he's kind of speculating that all gods, everyone who's divine is already immortal, but no, that's not really the case in Dragon Ball. They have a divine entity, they are divine entity, and they do have supernatural divine powers such as creation and destruction, but they're not really immortal. You have to wish yourself for immortality, which is exactly what Zamasu did. And there was a funny scene where Goku explains to Bulma he also transformed into a Super Saiyajin, or a Super Saiyan. He tells him, actually he can't remember what the name is, so he asks Vegeta what the name is, and Vegeta tells it's Super Saiyan Rose, and Bulma, of course, insults him. His naming sense is kind of weird because he named it the way that Goku and Vegeta did. Super Saiyan Blue versus Super Saiyan Rose. That's a funny scene in the episode. So basically, after they kind of talk a little bit about this. There's a little bit of dialogue between Pilaf and Shu, basically saying like, "Oh, Future must be really strong then because she led the resistance." I found that kind of funny how they're talking about that in the episode. Then all of a sudden we get Lord Beerus, Whis, and the Kaioshin of Universe 7, Supreme Kai. You know that guy from the Buu Saga, the Buu arc, all that kind of stuff. They all three of them appear. They start eating some fruit shake. I think it is. I don't know. It's like a ice cream with fruit in it. At least that's what I think it is. Anyway, they start eating that around the dinner table, and they start discussing about how Zamasu could possibly obtain immortality, and who Goku Black is. This is where Whis makes a lot of conjectures, guys. He makes a lot of assumptions here, so it's not, I'll tell you this right now, it's not confirmed on whether or not this is all true. This is only what Whis speculates. So, what Whis says here, and this is very interesting, what happens here, he's basically telling them that, okay, so we know that Whis wants to destroy all mortals, right? He's basically has this absolute sense of justice. It's almost like, in One Piece, if you guys ever watched One Piece, it's the same thing as Akainu, the Gensei, the current fleet admiral, Akainu-san, or Sakazuki. He has the same kind of moral where it's like, if anyone tries to get in my way of absolute justice, they will perish. He believes in absolute justice. That's what Zamasu also believes here, and he wants to enforce his sense of justice, but he doesn't have the power to. So what we speculates is, he basically asked Super Shenlong, the Super Dragon, use the Super Dragon Balls to create his own servant. And he wanted to create him in Goku Black's body, Son Goku's body, because, and a little bit more explanation, he wanted it to look like Goku, because remember when Goku fought Zamasu a couple of episodes ago, he realized that Goku is really powerful, so he wanted to use Goku's power for his own deeds. So what we speculate here is, he used the Super Dragon Balls to not only make himself immortal, but also he does this to create Goku Black. Now, just recently explained in the episode, you have to wait an entire year to use the Super Dragon Balls again. And Beerus says he must be really devoted, he's waiting an entire year to use them. But that's not actually the case, because later on Beerus thinks that, wait a minute, he can use the time rings, Tokiyubio. The time rings, you can just use them to skip advance a whole year, and then use the Dragon Balls immediately again. But here's the catch though. He's a Kaioshin apprentice, so he can't use he doesn't have the authority to use the time ring. But here's what I thought would happen in the preview, and I was right. Not only does he use the Super Dragon Balls to make himself immortal, but we speculates that he actually killed Gowasu, and that's why they need to go to Gowasu right now and protect him, because of course it all has to play with the Patara earrings, and not only that, but the time rings. There's something I want to point out, guys, is that how do Goku, if Whis is telling the truth, and we don't know this because this is his speculation, but if it really was true, how is Whis doing this? Because, how is Zamasu have the same key as Black? We don't know yet. Maybe that has to do with the Batara. I think it does, because they're each wearing one on opposite ears. So that's what I think. Anyway, so we cut to Goku and the gang going to Gowasu, which, by the way, Gowasu is pouring his own tea because he's wondering where Zamasu is. Zamasu ain't there. He's not there. Goku and the gang show up and they ask Zamasu, where Zamasu is, and basically what happens here is a little bit more detail, but Goku eventually he spills out the fact that Gowasu might die, so and that Zamasu is a bad dude, a bad Kaioshin. Right as Gowasu says, "Oh, he can't be that bad," Zamasu appears out of nowhere. He opens what seems like a door with his tea cart. He's pushing it along. He appears and he gives a grin, and that's where we leave it off, guys. Very dialogue heavy this episode. Almost, I don't think there was there was basically no action sequences, but it's good to know a little bit of speculation. However, we don't know if this is really true. This is all speculation for right now, guys. So that's what I'm going to tell you right now. It's all speculation. We don't know if any of this is true. This is just what we think, and I actually think this might be true, except for the part of Goku Black. Maybe there's a little bit of something different that has to do with that. One more thing that I wanted to say before I get out of here is the fact that Whis thinks that Zamasu, there is no future Zamasu. It's just present Zamasu going to the future. Now, why he's doing this, I don't know. I have no idea. We're just going to have to speculate, but we think, or at least Whis thinks that it's not the future Zamasu. It's actually present Zamasu in the future with Black. So that's it for this episode, guys. Leave your comments down below. What do you think? Post your theories. My predictions for next week. I don't really have any, except they're going to try to protect Gowasu. If you saw the spoilers, you already know what happens. I posted a video for spoilers, I believe, a couple of days ago. Go check those out. I'll probably link it in the description below. And if you saw those spoilers, you already know what's going to happen. So that's it for my review, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed my breakdown analysis type thing. I'll see you guys next week for episode 59 of Dragon Ball Super. Be sure to subscribe to Lollyman16 if you haven't, for the latest Dragon Ball Super videos, guitar Dragon Ball covers, and of course my battle series where I put two Dragon Ball characters in a battle together. Could be anywhere, could be both from Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Super. Could be any one of those. Could be the movies or anything. So again, subscribe and follow me on Twitter if you have not yet. I'll be posting every single video there from now on, so make sure to catch up with that. I'll see you guys later. Stay awesome, everybody, and have a good one.